Welcome back. We're making some progress with the Midget. The clutch, I'm happy to say, definitely works. I've not been able to start the engine yet. Turns out the SU fuel pump was completely cream crackered. It was never good, and it hasn't got better with age. There's a new one here, quite inexpensive. I don't even know if it's the best part, but it's certainly applicable to the car. Like I say, not too expensive, and it'll pump fuel, it'll get us going. And I think that's the main thing. I think the important thing with this is to get the car driving and see what it's really like. So the engine is pretty much all back together. I still haven't done the static timing on the distributor yet. I have had one of the HT leads off and a spare spark plug. There is spark when you turn the engine over, but it's intermittent. It's not every stroke of the cylinder. So I think we're going to have to maybe strip down the distributor and clean the points, all the usual stuff. We're speaking to my dad about this. We were thinking about maybe just getting electronic ignition, see if that helps. I think in the future I would like to replace the big dynamo with an alternator. That would be nice, but not critical. Now, I think one of the key things is that, as well as the fuel pump, I discovered that the Yuasa battery, which was new and has done basically no miles 9 years ago, although it's been kept on the trickle charger every now and again, as soon as I try to turn it over, the voltage just collapsed, so you get like half a crank and then so new battery again. I think it's important that we get the car actually driving this time. I was looking back through the previous MOT history, or the last failure in fact, and apart from the rust spots that I spoke about in a previous video that we've welded, that's done, there was an advisory for the felt bush at the top of the steering column being a bit worn. I have a new one. It looks like a bit of a faff to change, so I think I might leave that for now. It was only an advisory. And the car also failed on a leaking brake cylinder at the back. I've not been able to find it, but before we put the car back on the road, I was speaking with my dad again. I think we are, for all the time it takes and the cost of parts, we'll whip those back wheels off, get the drums off, and give the brakes a service. We'll do the front as well when we get back to the front. Otherwise, though, we're not bad. We're not doing too bad at all. So I'm going to see if I can get the pump fitted today and see if we can get any life out of the engine at all. That's an ignition system. But we can try. It doesn't cost anything to try. As you can see, I didn't try and video fitting it. It was just too tight. It was too sore, too uncomfortable. I don't think it would have been so bad if I had a two-poster, but I don't. So it was nasty. But it works. I've got the battery disconnected at the moment because I've just put the ignition back together, but I had it apart just to make sure I didn't blow myself up. But I checked earlier, there is definitely fuel to both carburetors now. That's good. The pump works charm, lovely. I decided to take the distributor off and have a look inside. I think I've maybe had a bit of brain fade before. It turned out that the breakers, the gap in the breakers was way too small. That probably had something to do with the fairly crappy spark that I had. I've reset that to 15 thousandths of an inch, and then I decided that the spark plugs I had in were all damaged. I can't remember how they got damaged, but they were substituted for ones that came from my lawnmower. So these are not very nice. Two of them at least came from a lawnmower. So I've done this. 4 nice new spark plugs, gapped to 25 thou, as per the book / the internet. Let's get these in, and I'm quite tempted to see if it's got any more interest in starting now. We'll have a look. Right, let's get these spark plugs in. I'm going to thread them all by hand first. This is the first car I've ever had, believe it or not. This is because I'm so young, with an iron cylinder head. So most of my car, all the rest of my cars have had aluminium heads. And threading spark plugs in with those using tools really is asking for very, very expensive trouble. I'm wondering whether to leave that one out actually. I might leave out cylinder 1. And let's put that somewhere else where it's not going to short on the battery. I already marked my HT leads up with bits of Tamiya masking tape from my model making days. Oh, I best put that on as well. The vacuum advanced tube so that doesn't get mangled in the cooling fan. What's that? Number 3. Click. King lead. Cylinder 2. Where are you? There we are. Get out of the way. And let's get cylinder 1 and just plug that onto the end of the spark plug. Put that there. And let's see what happens. I wonder if I can balance the phone somewhere because I've got nobody helping me today. So if I put this here, where can I put this? I really haven't thought this through, have I? Right, we're inside the car. I've got that plug on. I couldn't find a way to video it, sorry, I do have a spark. I'm not sure how good it is, but we'll have a go. Right, pull the choke out. Good news. There's the pump running. I've got oil pressure. It's sat for quite a while. I haven't needed to prime the pump. I verified beforehand that it was moving. I just wanted to show you. Pump's chattering away. Choke out. Why won't you stick? Useless choke. No way! Oil pressure is nice and good. It's running without choke. It was running without choke. I wonder if I should try that again. What harm could possibly happen? I think it was the choke where I went wrong with that. Too much optimism, James. Too much optimism. I'm going to have to fix this choke. The friction lock doesn't, or sorry, the cam lock doesn't really work at all, actually. Total joke. Right, I have to put you down for a second. Right, oil pressure's back up. We're running at about 1600 RPM. Right, we're not quite happy, but not too bad either, I don't think. Not too bad. We've got some stuff coming off, so let's go see what that is. It's probably just oil and moisture burning off, I should expect. It has sat there for quite some time, and yeah, I think that's exactly what that is. It doesn't smell sinister, just smells like something cooking off. Good! Good! I need to get that wing back on and then make it work. The carburetors are probably stuck. This thing really hasn't run in quite a long time, but not too shabby, I think. Not too bad at all. Looks like my wife's ran away with it. She didn't get very far, it's conked out. Bonus, the brake lights work. Well, that's went well, isn't it? Just give it a start. And give me a blip of throttle. Again. Oh well, there's the problem right there. I've been inside and got changed. There's quite a lot of wax oil on the bottom of this car, which is partly why it's actually not in too bad condition, despite being 50 years old this year, but it doesn't have made a mess. So I've been inside, I've been showered. As you'll have seen, it works. The car's driven. It's really not running happy, but it was working. The car's alive. Moreover, the thing that's kept the thing off the road for the last 9 years, a clutch which simply refused to bleed and declutch with the pedal, is now working. That's fantastic. Tomorrow's my daughter's 12th birthday. Because of that, I've done something I've been meaning to do for a long time, and we've given her her first go at driving a proper 3-pedal manual car, our old MX-5. I wanted to scrub the brakes off anyway, just to remove some corrosion. She's been driving around the field. Right, you're in first. Don't worry too much about the power, just give it some, and then start to bring that left foot up. There you go, right, clutch, right. Okay, don't go too aggressive on the power, right. Bring the steering round and don't worry too much about these molehills, they're not that important. Right, straighten up and take us down the hill a little bit. There you go, down this way. Give yourself a little bit of room. First gear can be a little bit difficult to drive along in because as the car sort of lurches, you tend to like move your feet by accident. So give yourself plenty space. This car turns around in a nice little circle, but space is good. Right, give it lots of steering now. Take us round to the left, and then straighten us up, going back up the wheel again. Yeah, we don't need to do donuts just yet. Okay, there we are. Right, take us up that corner. That one.
That'd be ideal.
Okay. When I was in secondary school, I was jealous of all the farmers that had fields so they could learn to drive before they were 17. And you're about to turn 12 and you're driving a 3-pedal manual. Do you know something? There's lots of... Because automatic gearboxes are so common in America, people that think they're into cars use whether or not they can drive what they call a stick shift as a measure of how good they are. And you're 12 and you're learning it. Here you are. Well, that's good. Well, it's because we're in a field. It's not great, but we do own it, so there's nobody says you can't do this.
Yeah,
this isn't illegal.
Yeah, it's harder to do this on the road though.
Yeah.
It's slippier.
Okay, straighten up, down towards that way. Give yourself some space. The road's not slippy. The road's grippy. Right, this time I want you to stop the car, but I want you to press your foot to the floor first, your left foot. Press the clutch all the way in and you will disengage the engine from the back wheels. So press the left foot to the floor and now use your right foot to brake. Put the car in, put the handbrake on, pull it up, let go, and now put the car into neutral and then let the clutch up. There you are. That's you stopped. This is what you do if you stop at a traffic light.
How do you do that so quickly? Some people are like...
It's practice. Just practice. It becomes second nature. You don't even have to think about it once you've done it. I wish I could have done that when I was younger. And my dad's going to come over tomorrow, partly for her birthday, and partly to help set these carburetors up. And we'll do a little bit more troubleshooting and just see if we've got the ignition working in fine fettle. But Looks like the end's in sight. Fantastic.